That we could start with discussion. I give two short, as you know, provocative basics. First basic is that EQF and open method of coordination are two tools for homogenization of NQF process. What I mean with this? As you know, with EQF, European Qualification Framework, European Union gets tool for homogenization or unity outcomes, learning descriptors, qualification levels, and so on. Forming of EQF is connected with so-called open method of coordination, which are soft policy instrument. This soft policy instrument was created with Lisbon strategy in the year 2000. So my question for you is how European Commission or Europe Union with soft tools like reports, guidelines, project impact on forming your national qualification framework on one side, and on another side, how different projects, how implementation of best practice, how inviting of external experts influence on your national qualification framework. So, question background is what happened with your national qualification framework, or if are some common.
What about this?
Yes.
About this, I mentioned yesterday, I worked on the project, I still work, and in February I must go to Bucharest to define very clear the skills that must have any graduate in the formal learning.
Yes.
Not only skills, but scientific knowledge and practical knowledges, minimum knowledges. If there is a university that give diploma, yes, and the graduate did not know those minimum knowledges, the feedback will work.
Yes.
About formal learning. About non-formal learning, please ask national agency about this.
Yes. Where I can have problem with Bologna process, EQF, or especially NQF. As you know, Bologna process start much before than EQF or formal NQF. So many study programs was reformed before accepting EQF and NQF. What does it mean? That learning, qualification descriptors or learning outcomes in
because you know, how can we possibly imagine that those systems could be federated at European level? That's highly risky to me, because the possibility that all the national frameworks could be recognized being different at a European level is very, very low. So, in my own opinion, that we could give ourselves, whatever the group might be composed and staffed, because that's another problem, okay? And Francesca was right, it has to be stuffed with all the possible components, okay? Having to recognize the final credits. But suppose we have that, and the next issue is, how can we possibly recognize what is recognized at a national level, at a European level. It would be, at that point, to me, it would be very, very unlikely that all the national groups would be ready to accept a paramount system, a supernatural national system. So I don't know, it's that's another issue. Why do we have to build national systems if we're tending towards an international qualification framework, which we might recognize? It would be very hard that all the single nations would accept a paranational committee.
How I see this situation, EQF is understand as meta framework, which means that it must be something behind, something small parts which connect with EQF. And by my opinion, policy of European Union was make some meta framework which will be basic for making national qualification framework or sector qualification framework. And this way, want European Union homogenize educational system or qualification system. But we must know that education was in all history of European Union under the principle of subsidiarity, which means that each country grabbed educational system in.
And under this, the management of the Ministry of Education, there is also an agency which is responsible for the non-formal learning. The non-formal learning, and this is related to professional qualification. This non-formal learning is mainly useful in the public, so to say, public field, as it is recognized mainly by public authorities. The private sector still, the business, is quite far away from recognizing this kind of education, and still demands more and more to be done in the field of non-formal education. Where the informal education is concerned, it is really quite a lot of work to be done. Still, there is no recognition, and if you want recognition in concerning the informal education, you have to go either to the formal authorities or the authorities which are recognized by this agency as authorities giving the non-formal, the certificate on non-formal education. Still, there is a positive work done in integrating the formal education system, where the universities, besides giving the certificate for, according to the law, the certificate for bachelor, master degree, or PhD degrees, which are considered educational qualification here in Bulgaria, most of the universities are actually preparing and trying to offer to the white market, also to the business, courses which give additional certificates to people who are presently working, and especially to managers in the private sector. This is especially in the business management and public administration. In the recent years, there are at least 5 universities in Bulgaria who are working on such courses, and so